People tell me that they find it difficult to understand my personality. For instance, when I told my family, teachers, and friends about how I wanted to study abroad when I was 15, nobody understood what led me to that thought process at first. But don't worry, it's not just you who find it difficult to understand my personality, because it was so tough for me to understand myself for a long time. I mean, to this day, I don't know if I've fully understood myself, but it's definitely better than before, if that makes sense. At one point in my life, I was so curious about why I am the way I am. And when I'm curious about things, I normally search things on Google, and that's when I came across this personality indicator test. And I feel like I have been able to understand a lot about myself because of it. Have you ever heard of an MBTI test? It's an abbreviation for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, and it was first published in 1943. MBTI is an introspective, self-report questionnaire indicating differing psychological preferences in how people perceive the world and make decisions. It's quite fascinating, so you should take the test if you have time to sit down for about 15 minutes in your day. I'll put the link to the test in the description below for those of you who are interested in getting to know which personality type you have. I'm an INFJ, to be precise INFJA. And here's the actual test that I took quite recently. I have taken this test so many times over the past 5 years, and it's always been INFJA, despite my wish to receiving the result of other personality types. Because I'm a huge believer that people change over time, and so does your personality. But I guess I've been wrong about my own personality. But anyway, in this video, I wanted to talk about INFJ and what it's like to have this personality type so that you can get to know more about me. INFJ is one of the 16 personality types identified by the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. INFJ is sometimes referred to as the advocate or the idealist. People with INFJ personalities are known to be creative, gentle, and caring. INFJs are usually reserved but highly sensitive to how others feel. They're typically idealistic, with high moral standards and a strong focus on the future. Here are some of my characteristics as an INFJ. I like writing. I've been creating YouTube videos for many years, but I never really liked talking in front of the camera about a topic that I just came up with. I've tried it so many times, but it never really worked. This is because I never have a lot to say when I'm put on the spot to talk about something instantly. But I noticed that I can come up with my own perspectives about a topic after spending time and writing about how I feel about the topic. This is not good when it comes to a situation where you get asked, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And if I don't instantly answer the question, then they assume that I don't have an opinion or I'm slow at giving my thoughts on things. However, what they don't understand is that people think differently. Some people think and say things without considering millions of perspectives, while others spend time looking at one thing from as many angles as possible before giving their perspectives. It's just unfortunate that we live in a society where you tend to be respected if you can instantly give your opinions about things in situations like job interviews, meetings, and general conversations with people. We tend to neglect the fact that everyone is different and think that whatever quick and fast is the best. I guess life has always been unfair like this, so it's not a surprise though, eh? Sorry I went off track a little bit, but lately when it comes to creating YouTube videos, I've been writing scripts for my videos and I believe that I feel more relaxed because I know exactly what I'm going to say and I understand that I can share my opinions as clear as possible with you guys. I overthink a lot. INFJs are known to be overthinkers and I think that's absolutely right. For instance, when I was 13, I hit puberty. I spent about 2 months trying to act like somebody else, being pissed off at my family, and I pretended as if I hated them from the bottom of my heart. One day I felt sleepy, so I casually sat on the bed and thought I was going to bed. But I looked at the window and I have no idea why, but the view outside looked more beautiful and clearer than usual. And it somehow hit me with the perspective that, what if my family dies tomorrow? Aren't I going to regret the fact that I've been acting like a total asshole to them for a long time? Aren't I going to regret the fact that I couldn't say I loved them and thank them for everything that they have done for me? These questions within myself made me stand up right away and walk to the living room, and I apologized for my behavior in front of them. So I do overthink things just like this example, but I believe overthinking is better than not thinking about anything in life. I trust my intuition. It is known that INFJs can easily sense when something isn't right. I believe that this is one of my most important characteristics. As far as I can remember, I've always listened to my gut feelings and made my life decisions based on my intuition rather than being logical. The reason why I decided to leave my family, friends, school in Japan to study abroad in New Zealand was that my gut feeling told me that I shouldn't be where I was at anymore. Then I went to school, university, and started working for a company in New Zealand. For my second year of working in New Zealand, my gut feeling told me that I shouldn't be there anymore, so I decided to move back to Japan and started working in October 2021. I don't know how to explain it, but it seems like I start to feel uncomfortable when things become comfortable in my life. My intuition tells me that I can learn much more from being uncomfortable than being comfortable, and I can appreciate the comfort only when experiencing hardships in life, if that makes sense. So I might as well choose the path that I can struggle with and learn something new in my life. Living a life based on my intuition has now led me to a perspective that my existence is so small to this enormous world, and I've been living my whole life by relying on others. When I was a baby, I couldn't live without my family. When I became a teenager and decided to study abroad, I couldn't do it with my family and friends' support. I was able to learn to speak English because there were people in New Zealand that decided to give me a chance to get to know them and became friends with me. I could get jobs in New Zealand and Japan because there were people who believed that I could be a good fit for the roles. I have been able to keep making videos on YouTube because there's you who believe that my videos are something that is worth watching. You see, I haven't achieved anything by myself, but I have grown so much because of the support that I received from each and every one of you. I cannot be where I am today without you, so I couldn't be more grateful and happier. I'm conscious of the future. People who possess the INFJ personality tend to focus on the bigger picture and only care about the truly important things in life, and I think this is true. From a young age, I always thought about the future and make my life decisions based on the ideal future self that I hope to become one day. There have been many obstacles in my life, just like anybody else on this earth. But I feel like I have been able to live the way I want because I've always had a long-term vision and values that I believe in. I've also been trying to enjoy the process of growing myself as a human being, but I don't try to do everything perfectly. I've talked about this in my past videos that I like to focus on what can be controlled rather than the things that are out of my control. Because I'm conscious of the future, I've always found it easy to understand what I should be focusing on at this point in my life and what I don't have to care about. This is because I always have values in mind and I make decisions based on my values. I strongly believe that what I can control easily is my own behavior and action, but to control these aspects, I need to keep trying to understand myself. Because of this perspective, I have found the MBTI test so helpful for me to comprehend what is going on within myself. I highly encourage you to take this test because it is fascinating, and you might learn something that you didn't know about yourself by taking this test. That's the end of the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up because when you hit the like button, the YouTube algorithm helps my channel grow and reach people who are interested in the topics that I discuss on my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider subscribing and I will keep striving to create videos that are worth your time. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys later. Bye!